Hello and welcome to Stamper School. This is Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I live in Maine, USA. These short lessons in the basic of Stampin' Up products are intended to give you the confidence you need in paper crafting, whether you're a beginner or an experienced stamper. In today's class, we are going to talk about photopolymer stamps. So this stamp case at the top says Photopolymer Stamp Set. And you're going to notice that on the front of the case, just like we talked about last week, we talked about cling stamps last week. So the imagery is on the insert, and it's going to show you a picture of every stamp that is inside, which is really awesome. They're also quite true to size. Now, there always can be a little bit of a variation, but they are pretty true to size, so you'll be able to figure out which block you need to mount your stamp when you're ready to use it. Now, the beautiful thing here, again, with the cases is it has the name on the side, and it also has a little bit of the imagery here as well, so you can kind of see them at a glance. When you open up the case, you're going to see photopolymer stamps are really kind of see-through, right? They're kind of hard to see probably in my light here, but these are see-through stamps, and that's the beauty of them, is that you can see through, so you know where you're stamping. Now, when you pull off this, it's like an acetate paper that covers up your stamps. Your stamps are here, again, on another sheet of some acrylic type plastic, and then behind here on the case insert is the actual places that they have imagery that will correspond with wherever your stamp is. You can put it back on your sheet, you can line them all up, so you'll know if you have them all. So you can see here, hopefully you can see here that I'm missing a few. I've already taken a few out, so I've mounted a few on blocks to use here, and so they're not here. So if when I'm done with my stamps, I want to put them away, I want to make sure they're all here, I'll put them away after I clean them, and I'll close them back up here with this little paper over the top, and they go right back into this case, which is amazing. Now, Stampin' Up's photopolymer stamps are a higher quality stamp than some that you might see if you're shopping locally and getting different brands. They won't dry out, crack, or yellow like some of the other stamps will, but you definitely want to keep these stamps out of the direct sunlight. Now, you're going to see that when you flip it over to the back, this is completely covered, and that's to help keep the light from coming into your stamps. When you flip over the back of the cling stamps, you actually see the stamp. But Stampin' Up wants these to be covered to help you to maintain your stamps and not have them yellow. So less light means that they're not going to yellow as quickly. So definitely keep them out of the light. Now, why photopolymer, right? You're thinking, why, if the cling stamps work so well, what's so special about photopolymer? Photopolymer are really great for two-step stamping. So we're going to do a little two-step stamping here. Now, if you're new and you don't know what two-step stamping is when you take a couple of different stamps and you create one image. So you're going to stamp, for example, the bumblebee, and I've already stamped the body here in crushed curry, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp his little stripes and stinger here in early espresso, and I'm going to put a face on him. Now, because these are mounted on clear blocks and the stamp is clear, there's no sticker here, right? We can see right down through over top, and it helps us to line up our stamp so that we can get that on there pretty easily. Now I'm going to do the same thing here with the face. So I picked a little face out from my bumblebee, so I'm going to give him a little face right here so I can see right down through, and I know exactly where I can put this when I'm stamping. So photopolymer stamps are great for two-step stamping. It just makes it really easy to build on an image and get something created. It also comes in super handy when you just want to line up some images. So from the stamp set, we've got some greens down here and some different flowers. So with the photopolymer, once again, you can very easily see where the flower is going to go, and you can get it lined up on your project. And of course, if you want to turn it a little bit, these can go in different directions. So just like that, you can make them line up easily. So seeing through them is really nice for lining up, as well as that two-step stamping. Now, one thing that photopolymer isn't quite as good as red rubber. I'm just going to clean this off real quick, just so I can show you. The photopolymer don't work as well with the Stampin' Write markers. So the Stampin' Write markers and the ink pad, same exact ink formula. And on the red rubber, the cling stamps, if you use the brush end and color your stamp, you can stamp with it, right? So I'm going to just use this pen here, this marker, and I'm going to just put the ink on here. Now, because it's photopolymer, it doesn't accept the ink quite as well. So you're going to see here that it's kind of blotchy. So this is such a smooth surface, the markers don't work as nicely. Now I'm going to just come in here now with my ink pad, and I'm just going to finish this last flower off, and you're going to see there's a big difference here. So photopolymer stamps do have their pros and cons. Another thing that may bother you about photopolymer stamps is that they stain. So they will stain. You can kind of see here probably from some of my stamps that they hold even when they're cleaned, they're going to hold some of the ink on them. The ink will never come completely off. If you're using reds, browns, blues, purples, those are the colors that stain really nicely. Now, it does not affect the quality of the stamped image. It just has a pink tinge or a red tinge to it. So going forward, you just have to make sure, like, this is a pretty clean stamp right now. I just cleaned it. And so if I were to put this in ink again, this stain is not going to transfer into another ink pad or onto my project as long as it's clean and dry. So you're good there. You just have to put up with a few stains. Now, one more thing that's really awesome about photopolymer stamps is that you can actually manipulate some of them and curve them. So this sentiment right here, "You're as sweet as honey," I curved it and mounted it on this block. So this stamp has been manipulated. So you're able to bend them a little bit. I'm going to do one more over here just to show you. "You're as sweet as honey." Now, in the original stamp case right here, "You're as sweet as honey" is really straight. So if I take this back off of my block and let it relax, it will actually go back into its straight mode, right like this. Now, if you have one that you need to mount and it's a really big stamp, and if you feel like you're manipulating it, like maybe you've got it a little bit crooked and you want it to be straight, you definitely want to relax it a little bit onto your work surface, and then you can mount it back up, and then you can use it just as it was intended. "You're as sweet as honey." So you can manipulate the photopolymer by bending them, which I think is really kind of clever. You can't do that with the cling stamps. They're way too sturdy, but the photopolymer you will be able to bend a little bit and use them, and then that way maybe you want to put the little bee here underneath a rounded sentiment. So there's lots of different ways that you can use photopolymer stamps, and I hope that you enjoyed all of these little tips and tricks. Thank you for joining me for Stamper School today. I would love to know if you found this class helpful, and if you have any product topics you'd like me to cover in a future lesson, please comment with your suggestions and ideas. Stay creative, and see you in the next session of Stamper School.